Alan Osmond's life has often been surrounded by dramatic headlines and emotional storytelling, but it is important to understand from the start that many of the viral claims about his death are not accurate, as he is still alive and continues to be recognized as a key member of the legendary Osmond family, and rather than a story of death, his life story is better understood as one of resilience, health challenges, and long-term perseverance in both music and personal life, because Alan rose to fame as part of the Osmonds, a family group that became a major force in entertainment during the 1970s with a blend of pop, rock, and wholesome stage performances that earned them international popularity. And while the group achieved massive success with hits, television appearances, and global tours, Alan played an important role not only as a performer but also as a creative and organizational force behind the scenes, helping shape the group's musical direction and family-centered identity. And as time went on and the spotlight shifted, his life took a more personal and reflective turn, especially after he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a chronic neurological condition that gradually affected his physical abilities and changed the way he engaged with performing and touring. And this diagnosis became one of the most significant turning points in his life, not because it ended his story but because it forced him to adapt, slow down, and rethink how he would continue living meaningfully beyond the stage. And instead of withdrawing completely from public life, Alan chose to focus on family, faith, and advocacy, often speaking about his condition to raise awareness and encourage others facing similar health struggles, showing a level of openness that helped reduce stigma around chronic illness. And while his condition did bring challenges, including periods where mobility and energy were affected, it did not define him entirely, because he continued to participate in projects, family events, and occasional public appearances connected to the Osmond legacy, which remains one of the most enduring family brands in American pop culture history. And over the years, misinformation online has sometimes exaggerated or distorted details about his health, leading to false narratives that suggest he has passed away, when in reality he has been living a quieter but stable life away from the intense spotlight of earlier decades. And this shift away from fame has often been misunderstood as disappearance, when in fact it reflects a natural transition from global performance to private living, something many entertainers experience after long careers in the public eye. And within his family, Alan remains a respected figure whose contributions to the Osmond success are still acknowledged, particularly in how he helped maintain the group's cohesion during their peak years, and even as time has passed and the entertainment industry has evolved dramatically, his legacy continues through the lasting popularity of the Osmond family's music and influence, and his personal story today is more about endurance, adaptation, and family strength than tragedy, showing how a person can face a serious medical diagnosis and still build a meaningful life centered on relationships, purpose, and acceptance. And while sensational headlines may try to frame his life in terms of death or heartbreak, the reality is that Alan Osmond's journey is ongoing, shaped by decades of contribution to music, a courageous response to illness, and a commitment to living with dignity rather than fading into myth, making his story less about an ending and more about the quiet strength of continuing forward despite life's challenges.